What is going on, guys? Welcome to week number 7 preview video. It's finally here. We've got conference play beginning in the Big 12 Team Builder Dynasty, and the most fun part of any dynasty is the recruiting. Today's video is going to be an update video of all the recruiting boards, all 12 teams, plus the preview of the matchups.
Should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. Let's get this underway.
Up on the board, you're taking a look here at Ardmore's recruiting board, and looky. The number 1 defensive end, Daniel Monroe. This is Portugal's custom recruit. We're number 1 on his board. Midland State number 2, Amarillo 3, and Odessa number 4 in a distant 4th place.
Lagging behind are the Dust Devils. Kentrell Huggins is another guy. Was interested in Nebraska State, but I mean, not really, because when the rubber hit the road here, Nebraska State was trying for Kentrell Huggins, and then he was having none of it. So our sales pitch just fell on deaf ears. So he wants Amarillo, who, again, pops up here as a major recruiting force under Brock Musselman, and then Ardmore in second. To Marion Foreman here, this one's tough because, I mean, the guy plays for in-state powerhouse here, Hoover.
Yes.
And he's definitely looking at Alabama, although he got a couple early losses on the board. He's not being swayed, though. So what do you think about his chances to go into Denver Tech, Ardmore, AC?
The dude is 6'4", 219, so he is an absolute truck. And if we were able to get a back like this, it would totally change our offense a little bit. But I think what he likes and what he is seeing for our team, at least, is the fact that we use 3 different running backs, so he knows that he's going to get in, he's going to play right away.
But when he becomes great, is that going to cut into his workload? I think DeMarion seems like the kind of guy who wants the spotlight.
And if he comes here, he would be the guy. That much
That's
I can
what
promise.
you're telling him.
That's what
but
we would
he doesn't
say.
know that for sure.
Playing style.
Listed as a D-. Interesting, but he obviously likes the bright lights. He wants to win now, immediately. CJ Jones looking pretty good there. This dude you're a little bit behind on. You got this guy who should help your secondary.
Yeah. The number 2 cornerback in all of the land. We had Josh Miller. He was looking at UCF from Florida. Last season, he was just in that same camp as this guy, Scott Campbell. So between him and Campbell, Miller and Campbell, that's going to be a pretty good 1-2 duo for corner in the next few years. David Dickerson, the number 8 defensive end in all of the nation, looking at the top 3 schools in this dynasty. ACU, Denver Tech, Ardmore, all in that same bin. Nathan Arbaugh, I want this guy, the number 1 tight end, 6'7". I think he's supposed to be a little bit taller than that, but I think we chose 6'7".
Nathan here is driving a hard bargain. I mean, you see all these Big 12 schools at the bottom. We were all trying early. Like Amarillo, Midland, Denver, gone too. Like we were all going in on Nathan Arbaugh, and he just loves the MAC. He prefers the MAC to us.
It's weird.
Except for Nebraska, who he really likes, who are at the top of the board. So I don't know. I'm having a tough time here. Look at Takalande. I mean, he likes Texas, Notre Dame. Denver Tech is in second, but we already used one of our doorbusters, or lock pickers, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
For Denver Tech, so Ardmore does not have that option.
No, he's totally cut us out of the whole entire picture.
So we have to let him go, right?
We got to let him go. We're removing Tekalande from the board. And you guys will notice one thing here, not to get too spoiler-y, but you'll notice that these custom recruits in this season, very tough to get, and we're going to be covering everybody, and you guys are going to know exactly what's up with everybody going forward. Jordan Lashley here, down a little bit. We've got Little Rock.
I mean, look at these schools.
Like Ardmore, yeah.
You can't say we're not trying, but right now, Oklahoma State is in first. I think we'll end up getting Lashley, but I mean, like, I don't know.
Close to committing.
It's got to be Ardmore or Little Rock because everybody else is just way behind. So, Shellnut. We did get somebody.
Yeah, we finally got somebody here to sign.
Out of Wichita.
Of course.
So that was easy. Looking for some other guys. You got some nice recruits down here like Carrington, And Brant, you're looking good. Mickens wants to go to UCF, but you see our guys just lagging behind.
I would really love to get Taylor Mickens. I think that even though we have Tomsha, he might be a good mix. Every now and then we can sprinkle him in there with Tomsha. I just like that. I like that 2 quarterback system type thing I got going on.
Yeah. Mateo Garcia here. At least we got Mateo. I think he's looking very strong at McAllen. Should get him easily. Oliver Price. We're behind. Okay, Iowa State. Way ahead of everybody else.
Random Iowa State.
For a 69 wide receiver, I don't understand that, but I think Ardmore and Camu are the only teams with a prayer. Got to go hard. Jamal Young.
Jamal Young's gone.
I mean, dude's from Nebraska.
I know.
He's going to go to South Carolina. Like, I think the CPU is just messing with us at this point.
It's either we made these custom recruits too good so that everybody's on their board, or it just seems to be a very random class. I mean, we are trying to get everybody, all of these custom recruits are trying to get on a Big 12 school. We got 12 teams to pick from for them to get on. Yeah. And so far, it's looking Ardmore's way plus ACU. Everything else is kind of up in the air.
Yeah, so if you see some of these guys that are on their top 5, but they're off the board, I mean, that's because we had to clean up the board in the last week or so, and we're just too far out.
What do we got going on here at Nebraska State?
I like this class. I think we're looking pretty good right here. Ryan Scott, I don't think we're going to stand a chance here, but we need talent on the offensive line, and we desperately need talent on defense. I think our defense will get older and get better, which, I mean, right now we're awful, but I think we can turn that around with experience, but in the meantime, might as well try to plug up some holes. Nail. I'm just gonna keep calling him Nail. I just think it sounds better.
We haven't had a confirmation on if it's Nigel or if it's Nail.
I just like Nail.
Nail Cotton.
I like that better. The JUCO. I think he can really be a sound contributor in our backfield. Arbaugh, I'm not losing faith yet. I'm actually hoping he locks us out. By that point, I mean, we don't even have a visit scheduled, so I don't know. But
yeah,
maybe if he locks us out, we can get this. We can come back, get this into the off season, and then all bets are off, man. That's my hope. Levi wants Nebraska. Okay.
I mean, what are you gonna do? You're down 1,800 points. You can only put 550 on your guy.
Yeah. Yet James Newby from Bardstown, Kentucky. Not the home of William Shakespeare.
The number 1 corner
is the Bard.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know
that? You educate these people.
Well,
that's why you're here.
That's one of those things you learn in sophomore year of high school.
Yeah, I didn't.
Stratford upon Avon.
What?
That's where he was born.
I don't know these things. Yeah.
Interesting.
The more you know.
Speedway, Indiana. I bet you they named that after the racetrack.
Probably.
They probably named it that in 1980. It's probably Smithsville or something. They said, you know what? We're 2 miles away from that Bristol Motor Speedway. We're going to call it Speedway, Indiana.
Oh, cool.
Somebody look this up on Wikipedia and let us know. But look, I mean, getting back on track here. I like where we're at. We're in the top 1 or 2. Here's a guy that we lost. Antonio Miles is gone.
I know.
I mean, what is going on?
But here's the thing, though. He comes from Georgia. From Georgia, so he's already in SEC, ACC type of land there. So
yeah, so Shreveport, ACU, Nebraska State, and Camu were going all in on Antonio Miles for the first 3 or 4 weeks. And then you see Georgia Tech, Tennessee, and Florida State get off to these huge, insurmountable leads, and we can't keep them.
I think it's got something to do with the fact that these guys were too good. This class was too good with their overall ratings because, I mean, look at Miles Jr. He's a 75, right? That's what's tough.
Possibly.
He's 75 overall, plus out of our geographical range. I think that's probably got a lot to do with it.
Could be. Stafford is another guy. Stafford.
He's right in our range.
We were Nebraska State, Shreveport, Odessa, and I believe... Yeah, so we had these 3 schools. We're going pretty hard for Stafford. And then Texas A&M just loves him. So we're not going to get him. It's sad. I mean, this is my last stand, but I don't think we can get him. I did have more points on Jamal Young. I'm just gonna hang on. Maybe I get locked out. I'm not sure.
He locked us out.
So that's the board, which is looking pretty good, minus all of our custom recruit whiffs. Okay, our first look here at Gavin Garland, and what do you know? A non-team builder team is in first place. We are really trying for Midland and ACU. We did have Camu on the board early, and then you see more teams down here that we had to give up on recently.
That's just so many points.
I know, this is not going to happen. Gerald Frederick in the lead there. Tony Powers. Arnold, they're a little bit behind. I just added this dude, Mike Davis, to the board. I think a guy that we can get. You'll see him on multiple Big 12 team builder boards.
Pretty crazy, right? He's the number 2 strong safety in the nation, and he's not really making up his mind.
He's like,
quite yet. I'll just wait. I'll just sit back.
I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. He's from Hawaii too, and we'll see a couple of guys from Hawaii out here. Justin Nash from DeKalb, home of Northern Illinois. Mike Hall.
They were nowhere on that list, by the way.
Yeah. This dude I just added, so he's from Hawaii too.
Number 1 quarterback?
I guess. I mean, might as well. I don't know.
So they had the number 2 safety and the number 1 quarterback in the nation from Hawaii.
Yeah. What's up with that?
I don't know. Maybe they finally
Foreman.
figured out how to play football.
Demarion Foreman, looking pretty good there, but I mean, 1,800 behind, so we're desperate to make up some ground. We're in striking range on Takalande. It's going to be hard. Let's look at his visit schedule. Notre Dame gets the first visits.
Coming up. And then there's 2 weeks until Denver Tech.
Yeah, so I don't know how we can survive that. Honestly, I really don't. Miles, we pulled back on Miles recently. It's just not going to be able to happen. There's some good prospects down here, though, for ACU, and a couple guys that they're doing pretty well with. And so once this board clears out a little bit, as we always say, then we can start putting more on these guys in the low 70s and guys that we are new to the board, maybe we can make a push on.
Kentrell Huggins is in first place for Amarillo. We talked about him just a little bit when looking at the Ardmore board, and this is an encouraging sign because there's 5 teams in his top 5 from the Big 12. I like that.
Hey, somebody likes us.
Yeah, good. Huggins and Monroe, they really like Amarillo.
Awesome.
Takalande down 1,200 points to Notre Dame. Like you said before, don't know if this is going to happen, but this guy, Justin Samuel, the number 4 defensive end, 6'6", 250.
I think Odessa really got to get Justin Samuel here. You'll see when we look at their board. It's not amazing here. Frank Motley.
That's a good one.
I mean, they blew out the competition there. So good to see for him. Kyle Hall, pretty far behind. This one, a little interesting. A little bit interesting. Braxton Austin Jr. Likes Texas, Amarillo, and a long shot here at Denver Tech. And let's look at his visit schedule. There's a team that I don't see on here, and they are way, way at the bottom. They've been making a push, man, but he recently said, there's my cutoff point right there, and Odessa is out of the cutoff range.
He doesn't want anything to do with his dad.
What's happening here?
Don't know. Because
Odessa was putting all of their points possible on Braxton, and I don't know. It's just he's not having any of it. So we'll talk more about that when we get to the Dust Devils. But right now, Amarillo's sitting pretty there. Lashley, I don't think they're going to be in contention there. This dude, Dishman, Washington.
Christian Richardson from Dishman, Washington. Say that 5 times fast.
Yeah, really. Justin Winston. That's the perfect Amarillo recruit. I don't know why. It's the 3-star, 70-something guy from Texas. I don't know. It just seems right to me.
Nigel Jones there at 700. Brad Washington, there's some good players there. Middle linebacker, guard, Reggie Thurman. Bo Jackson. Bo Jackson, you got to get this guy. His name's Bo Jackson, one of the greatest athletes of all time.
Yeah, you got to get Bo Jackson. We talked about Shellnut. So you'll have to clean up this board here for Amarillo.
Taylor Mickens update there.
Yeah, Amarillo, pretty much the only other team with a chance at Taylor Mickens.
Yeah, I really wanted him to come to Ardmore to kind of get that 1-2 punch with Tomsha a little bit later on in their careers. But it just doesn't look like this is going to happen for Ardmore. Best of luck to Amarillo to try to get him.
Well, here's a team that is desperate for some good news. Got the Broken Arrow Wranglers, and Braxton Austin right now is in second because Uba just broke down the door.
If you're Braxton Austin and you're a tight end, why do you want to go here? Like, what is the selling factor to go to Broken Arrow?
He's a blocking tight end, which I don't know why. I thought he was more of a receiver to me. I don't know how they pick these archetypes or whatever. But
believe me, it was more of a vertical attribute set for him.
Yeah, so that's
possession guy.
Ultimately, why I don't think he's shown any interest in Odessa State, because they assigned him to be a blocking guy, even though guys are like a great receiver, a great receiving tight end. So I don't get it. This dude's torn between Shreveport and Uba out of Ohio. Stephen Williams, Lashley, they're in the mix. We need more points on Lashley because I don't want to lose him. He's gone. Okay, that looks better. There's Richardson making another appearance. This guy just added to the board here. Out of Idlewood, Virginia. Adam Thomas. Mateo. We had some recently, but, I mean, we pretty much totally scaled back there.
He would have been a good fit for Broken Arrow, but, you know, he might even be a better fit in this run-first McAllen offense.
I think you're right. The Uba was on Oliver Price. To take him off the board. Added a couple of these guys like Micah Goins was just added, even though he currently has Uba in first place. Jim Rivero is another guy that we just added. So, I don't know how I feel about this board. I think it looks okay. Looks like a classic Uba board to me.
I think near the top, Uba's trying to sell themselves a little bit too high and mighty right now. They're a team that's probably not going to get these top players.
There's a Denver Tech team where, I mean, you guys have seen the last couple seasons. They go really hard after the top guys, and they lose out on a lot of them. But the guys that they do end up signing really make up for it and make this a pretty decent class. So Kevin Davis might be one of those guys, because to me, it looks like he's going to Stanford. But the fact that McAllen and Denver Tech have visits, they might catch Stanford, hopefully.
Yeah, they have before him.
It gets to the final week of the season. We'll keep an eye on that. And then the other safety, Mike Davis out of Hawaii, they just added him on. They're going to make a push for him. Safety is a position Denver Tech's usually really good at, so they're going to try to fortify that even more. Montrell Brooks is another one of these guys that they're trying to get, and Denver Tech is an 8th with no visit. So they're going to try to get locked out. Once you get locked out, and then you can get back in the mix.
To get boosted back up.
They're hoping that Brooks will do that. They're in second for Takalande. Justin Nash is a guy that they want to get. And, oh, look at this. A teammate of Davis.
Oh, yeah, out at Ua Beach.
That's weird.
The number 3 defensive end. What is going on in Hawaii right now?
Something in the water, man.
Something happening on those islands. It's a factory out there for football players now.
Yeah, Braxton Austin Jr. right now. They have him in second, although Uba just skyrocketed. They got this dude, Gary Clark, out of Broomfield, Colorado. How'd you like to own a broom factory in Broomfield, Colorado? It's my dream one day.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah. Demarion Foreman.
Peaceful.
Hoover. Not home with a vacuum. Maybe it was. I don't
What's
know.
up with you in the cleaning supplies right now? You got brooms,
Somebody
you got
look
vacuums.
it up. Tell me where Hoover vacuums were invented. It's probably Hoover, Alabama. Or it was named after a guy with the last name of Hoover. Just throwing that out there. This dude, Jarrell Talley, out of Beverly Hills, Michigan. Not Beverly Hills, California. Right now, he thinks he could be the successor. Who knows? Blake Berry out of Escanaba, Michigan.
Come on now. You know, you and I both know where Escanaba, Michigan is, and there is...
They're going to produce a 5-star running back.
No, absolutely not. By the way, fun fact, the community was named for William H. Hoover, who organized the Employers Mutual Insurance of Alabama in 1921. So no, it's got nothing to do with the vacuums.
Ah, well, okay. Nathan Arbaugh, Denver Tech, might lock him out soon. They got another athlete here, Tony Purcell, out of Arizona, also known as Arizona. And then the pride of Wasilla, Alaska, Vernon Smith, in the mix here.
Got a lot of weird states, weird cities.
Fort Defiance. Ooh.
Sounds like a tough guy. But you know what? I'd rather take weird city names and weird states producing ungodly, talented players than what I saw with recruiting in Maximum Football with. Here's a fun fact. Likes to do cosplay as a bear or as a teddy bear or some weird, like, I don't...
You have furries?
There was that. There was
They have
that.
furries in Maximum Football.
There was that, yeah. Yeah, it was interesting.
I think it was probably a random
I think they do it to be funny.
They're like, cosplay of insert noun. But then, instead of like Star Wars or something, they do
Bear.
as a bear.
So furry.
What kind of cosplay
are we talking about here? Yeah, some weird stuff going on in Maximum Football. Anyway, so let's talk about NCAA Football 14. Kentrell Huggins, we know his update. We can just go on. Skip on him.
Okay.
Anthony Nelson.
Do you think he could go to Camu, though? Because I was worried about his playing style being a factor, and it's not.
I don't see him going to Camu. I think that all these teams are putting 700 on him.
They need
bonus.
They need
it's in their pipeline.
Though. They do need receivers.
They do. Amarillo needs some receivers too. Ardmore not so much. We got our young guys in there, but I mean, maybe Camu vaults Ardmore. That's certainly a possibility. Just depends on the visits. Anthony Nelson was signed. This is a defensive tackle. 6'1", 270. He might be a little short for defensive tackle. He's not going to be a 3-4 type of guy.
He's not going to. He's a pass rusher.
Yeah, he's not going to plug up any holes there, but he's going to be that pass rusher there. Scott Powell, a good guard, number 6 out of Texas, battling McAllen for him. Ryan Scott, another really good tackle, number 1, only down 35. So this is very possible that they could land this tackle. They need help on that O-line. They're targeting O-line hard in this draft class. Scott Powell, Ryan Scott, Shellnut, Joe Taylor here, Gavin Garland. We already looked at him a little bit. I don't think that's happening with Camu, but they're going after offensive line very, very hard. And another Hawaii product, Joe Garrett.
That's crazy.
Derek Burns, they're still in the running here. I would like to see either one of those two teams get Derek Burns. I actually would really love to see it if Camu could get this guy. They need help.
We need custom recruits to go to team builder teams.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It just hurts me to see that Camu's struggling.
Donald Rogers, I don't think he's going to go. Taylor Mickens, a little bit of a half-hearted effort there for Mickens. They're putting more on Price.
Did you guys know that Little Rock's defense has not allowed double digits in points scored against them in any weeks thus far?
I knew that.
It's insane. So the
Smart.
fact that they keep going after defensive players like Takalande, Gerald Arnold, Mike Hall, Newby, Berg, Burns, they are continuing to build that defense. And we're going to remove Kevin Berg? What is the point?
I don't know.
3,900 points.
He's locked out.
Yeah, we can't even get him.
We're dead.
Yeah.
Unless maybe that visit gets us in range.
It could.
So maybe we'll keep him.
Hold on.
Derek Burns, got to get Derek Burns. But yeah, this is all defense right here. Freddie Tucker, they signed William Johnson.
This guy's going to be great too. A 75 freshman.
Where's the offensive players? They got an offensive lineman. They have no skill players up top.
Yeah, Buddy Monroe is going hard on this defense, and I think it's smart. I think it's really smart of this team to go after the defense. They know what they're going to have with LaQuinton Evans. They know that they have Wilson at receiver, along with Keneal Mason. They got some young running backs that they've recruited the past 2 seasons that are going to come up and help Evans in the maturation process. Little Rock is looking scary here, and if they are able to sign those defensive players, you better watch out, because this team, ooh doggy.
They have to get Dennis Miller. So McAllen right now in the same spot as Denver Tech. They want to get the Davis guys here, who are not brothers. Maybe they are long-lost brothers.
Mike and Kevin.
Mike and Kevin. They got this dude Samuel that we talked about from Belton, Texas, trying to come back. They're only down 700. That's doable. They are in the mix for Niall Cotton. Demarion Foreman, they're way out. Coach Leroy Jackson really wanted Demarion Foreman, but recently they have been scaling back. Casey Jones is a possibility. Kentrell Huggins, they're looking at Huggins. They got all the factors in their favor, but we're trying to figure out why he's not that interested in McAllen, which is I think he should be, but probably wants to play in a passing type of offense. I like this dude. I love that guy's name, Marco Strong, out of West Virginia.
It's a pretty great name.
First time we see Jarvis Humphrey, and that is because he is yet another guy that we have had to take off multiple team builder boards, such as ACU and UBA. So it looks like Shreveport and McAllen are the only team builder teams that are going to have a crack at Jarvis Humphrey.
Yes, and if you guys want continuous updates on Jarvis Humphrey's senior season for Edna Carr High School in Louisiana, make sure you guys go out and check out Crate Games. Link is in the description for his channel. He's basically a road to glory for Jarvis Humphrey and covering his senior season. And yeah, I mean, look at this. It's a crazy thing that McAllen's there at number 2. It used to be Shreveport was in the number 2 slot.
It's because they just broke that door down, baby, recently. So, yeah, but they need Humphrey. They need the guy to take over for Harkless to run this offense. And with that size, 6'6", 235, I mean, he can throw it probably better than Harkless can, but they're hoping that he can run it as well. So that would be a big deal. First place for Mateo, as we talked about. And a lot of guys down here. So McAllen could turn this into a nice class. They got to capitalize, though. Midland State here. You got Daniel Monroe, who they're currently in second. It's a team that wants to build more defensively. As you see, you got Powers, Ford, Samuel they're pretty close with. Kevin Davis, they're a little bit farther behind. Gavin Garland's a guy that they really want to get. He's a hometown guy out of Midland. Got to beat out the Irish for him. That is mission number 1.
I think they can do it.
I really hope they can. Because we need to keep these guys in-house, man. Levi Rabal, not going to get him. Like Trent Leach, I don't think we're going to get him either. Arbaugh, we've been trying. It's not going to happen. Craig Jackson, we should get. That'll be good there. Casey Jones is a new ad. I'm going to put more points on him.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles reference.
What is?
Casey Jones.
How's that?
Casey Jones was the guy April O'Neil's love interest or something. He had the hockey mask.
Nobody knows what you're talking about.
What? You don't know Casey Jones?
I don't remember. I vaguely remember, but you got to think these kids they were born after the Y2K, man. They're not gonna know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Casey Jones, man. He's all over.
Okay. Tommy McAfee out of Yazoo City, Mississippi. Love that city name. Thumbs up if you're from Yazoo City.
Yeah, buy a car, Yazoo City.
That's how you gotta say it.
Interesting developments here for Odessa State's recruiting board. Daniel Monroe's in 4th place, down 2,400 to Ardmore. But guess what? If Braxton Austin Sr., the head coach, can't get his son, he's going to go after the next custom recruit, Daniel Monroe. He's going to unlock this door.
He's going to break the door down. He's committing a felony. Bam!
Come to our school. So this throws a wrench in all of this Daniel Monroe talk, doesn't it? Because now he could go anywhere. He could go anywhere from Midland to Ardmore to Amarillo to Odessa. It's all up for grabs.
So which visit do they go with? I think they gotta shoot for the Midland State game, because if they beat Midland State,
oh yeah, beat the rival,
they're gonna have a coup, much like we saw from 2 years ago,
right.
And that's the hope. So gotta go for that.
Wow, so they just totally screwed Ardmore right there, and you know they're gaining on us. They're gaining on us. So this even plays into this game. Week 7, this game, Ardmore Odessa pits these two players against each other.
Oh, yeah. And
For
we're
Daniel
going
Monroe.
to put a little bit more on Monroe versus Mike Davis, the new guy. Justin Samuel there.
So whoever wins that game, that's going to be huge.
Justin Samuel here in second place. So I think that guy's crucial to get for Odessa State to round out this class. Braxton, we know, they are just way too far out. And, I mean, we just entered his top 10. But he's really just got to narrow down to his top few schools. And it was all because of that playing style, which, according to the ratings, makes no sense. So Braxton Austin Jr., we have to remove him from the board. And I think the rumors out there are saying he wants to blaze his own path.
Braxton!
I don't know what to say, man. I don't know what to say. Just wasn't having it. So, newbie, Walker, I think... Oh, man. I don't know what to do about that.
No, I think that's... It's inside the top 10.
We got to stay within striking distance and break that door down. But he's already got all those visits.
Yeah, if you don't have a visit with those top schools, you're probably dead in the water.
Ugh.
Yep.
I really want to further the narrative that Odessa's this recruiting powerhouse, but then they do stuff like this, and they get way behind on people, and I just can't justify it. He's losing it. Braxton Austin Sr., these rumors going around that these boosters are funneling money to these recruits. The rumors going around, I think it's adversely affecting them, because now people are starting to talk, and they're like, well... We might get sanctioned in a few years. I want to be here when the house burns down.
So you got to ask yourself, how in the world did, when Braxton Austin Sr. come onto the scene, did they immediately have the #1 recruiting class in the nation? That's question number 1. Question number 2 is, now that he's finally the head coach in a position where, a lot of the responsibility falls on him, why are all these recruits now backing away? Why can't he land these big-time guys now that he's the head coach? Answer, because now the spotlight is shining on him, not Stan Leach, for having done anything bad. We can't confirm any of that, though, but it's all hearsay at this point.
It's all rampant speculation. Hey, at least you have Nate Austin.
Hey!
We got another one, folks.
There's another Austin. Shreveport's board looks kind of similar to UBA. They are not a powerhouse school, but they're acting like one. They're going to go for these top-tier guys, trying to go after Miles Jr. Doesn't seem like it's going to happen, but hey, I've seen crazier things happen. At least they're staying within the top 5. They're still in striking distance there. Trying to go after Mike Hall. They do have a visit here for Miles Jr. in week number 10, which is 3 weeks away. You got to wonder, are they going to be able to hold on for 3 weeks against Florida State, who's almost like a sliver away of saying, sign the bottom line.
Yeah, that's dangerous. Mike Hall, we looked at him earlier. Taylor, I think we need more points on him, but where is that going to come from?
Well, might have to come from Finkbeiner, honestly. Doesn't look like they're going to have any shot at that.
And his brother was the backup quarterback, team jokester / team mascot.
Do you guys remember that? From
Andrew Finkbeiner.
From year number 1?
Andrew Finkbeiner.
Was he also artificially inseminated?
That I don't know. That's a good question. But I would have to assume they're related somehow. Maybe it's his cousin.
Probably his cousin.
We'll go cousin.
He has nothing to do with that scene.
Justin Roden.
Is he related to Tom Roden? If you haven't followed Tom Roden on Twitter, make sure you guys go do that. At Tom Roden3.
We gotta
Big
give
12
up. We gotta
beat reporter. You got to give up. You got to give up on Mr. Justin Roden.
Unless, I don't know, you got that visit.
Plus 550, it would get you to 1,100.
Can we make it until week 13?
No.
They gotta clean this board up, dude. Hakeem Booker. That's a good one.
That's a great name. Put more points on him.
Brian Hamby. Okay. Rick Smith. Anybody else interesting down here? Ryan Bostic, Bridge City, Louisiana. Okay, well, I got a few more points here, so what are we going to do?
We're going to put those on Nigel Jones.
That's a good call.
And that'll do it. If you guys are not following Tom Roden, our Big 12 team builder beat reporter, please go ahead and do so on Twitter at TomRoden3. And this guy is busting out news left and right, giving everybody up-to-date, real-time information about what's happening. And guys, something huge is happening from McAllen, a former player. If you guys remember the defensive end for McAllen, the man, the myth, the dirtiest player on the field, Vicente Galarza. He's apparently been arrested on charges of money laundering and fraud. And as Tom says, what exactly was fraudulent and where the money was going, nobody really knows, except Galarza says Brock Musselman knows, which indicates that the head coach, now at Amarillo, knew about what was happening with that money. And what does Brock Musselman have to say about it? Tom tells you, and he says that Brock's quote, direct quote, "Look, the only thing I can comment on the matter is that while at McAllen, we forwarded a complaint to the compliance department, and that's all I'm going to say. We ran a clean program at McAllen, and we're running a clean program at Amarillo. End of story." So the question is who's the villain here? Is it Galarza? Is he trying to throw his head coach under the bus for something that maybe he didn't do? Is Musselman guilty? Is he free? Is he not guilty?
Let's check out the top 25. And Denver Tech is currently in first with 41st place votes. ACU with 21. And just looking at this, do you see a lot of teams that are in a certain group together? Because I see 6, count them 6, Big 12 teams inside the top 10. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that we were all on a bye week. I think we played a little bit easier non-conference schedules relative to the rest of the NCAA. Because you look at a lot of these teams with 2 losses, I mean, and look at who they played. I mean, Florida State and Ohio State. You know, like we don't really have that kind of thing in our schedule. Maybe one hard team, non-conference, but Big 12 is where it's at, man.
And there have been a ton of upsets outside of the Big 12 as well. A lot of teams that were in that mid 15 to 12 type of range, teams losing to unranked teams. That was able to help Big 12 vault its way up into the top 10. We see Odessa State. This is key question here, because you're the lore expert here. Is this the highest that the Odessa State program has ever been as far as ranking goes?
Yes.
I would say so too.
Yep.
I would be right on that same page with you on that. They've never reached the top 10. They've never been any higher than the top 10.
Right. I mean, Odessa State came out of the WAC. So, yes.
Hey, do you guys remember the WAC?
Yeah, they were in the WAC. They used to be in the WAC. So, this is the highest that they've ever been ranked. So, number 10. That's pretty impressive. And then you got Amarillo creeping back here, bouncing back from this loss at Virginia Tech. It's a game where they didn't really play very clean football on either side of the football. But the fact that they bounced back, they're looking pretty good with the wins over Baylor, easy win over UTEP, who you saw played North Carolina kind of close, which is interesting. Michigan coming off a loss to Illinois to drop the fit. So, I mean, they punished you hard, man. Lost to Illinois, you dropped 12 spots. Stephen Cust. I want to talk about that.
Yeah.
So far, no big wins, but, I mean, they've only had 1 home game so far, which is weird. But the fact that he's got Clemson churning, man, this program is looking good.
Remember, Clemson was terrible when he took the job.
They went 5-7 last year.
Yeah, it was so bad. Now he's already come in and won as many games as they won last year.
Stephen Cust, man, they rocketed up 9 spots after beating Miami. So the former Nebraska State head coach doing some positive things at Clemson. I would be interested to see maybe if they can get into a big bowl game. I mean, hey, they're undefeated right now. Maybe they get into the championship game. I don't know. Rutgers beats Mississippi State. So This team is for real, man. Even though they lost back-to-back road games. This team's pretty good. Mississippi State, Notre Dame, and UCLA.
Yeah, Jonathan Lewis, I mentioned it in a past video. He was actually a tight end. So this season in 2019 in real life, he was a quarterback, but they're moving him to tight end. So the fact he's producing in this series, in this game as a quarterback like this, pushing this offense over the top. It's kind of funny to see and be like, what would have happened if he just stayed at quarterback, Rutgers? What would have happened?
All right, others receiving votes. We have Shreveport. Shreveport's sitting there, undefeated. Marquee victory, I guess, over LSU, although LSU's not all that in the bag of chips this year. But hey, this team is undefeated. They're the only team in the Big 12 that's not getting a ton of respect.
And they must love the effect that Rashid Davis has had in order to get those rings.
I think they like the disrespect. I think they appreciate it. At this juncture, I think they're using it as motivation. Heisman watch right now, and a conspicuous lack of Big 12 talent on the board. However, I think maybe the fact that we were all on bye weeks
that probably hurt, yeah.
Hopefully had something to do with that. Alex Makovich, the Denver Tech quarterback, been ultra productive, missed a handful of time here over the course of his career due to injuries. So, I mean, even these numbers from the previous 2 years, I don't think are truly reflective of his per game production. But, I mean, right now he's got 9 touchdowns, 0 picks through 4 games, almost 1,000 yards passing. He's got 419 rushing with 7 touchdowns. You see his yards per game average is over 100. So he is over twice here relative to what he's done the last 2 years.
Yeah, he's already produced 58% of his rushing total from all of last season this year, which is a crazy number. And this guy's he would be my pick to win the Heisman. He's just way too good right now.
Taking a look at Players of the Week here. We have not checked this out at all, so I wanted to see if we had any Big 12 representation, and Rashid Davis for his game against Southern Miss. He was Player of the Week in week number 2. And then down the line here, Mike Knox against Eastern Michigan with 2 fumbles and recovers. Week 5 here against Rutgers. They needed Makovich to show up, and even Jeremiah Pope looked really good in that one.
And in week number 2 or week 3, we had a Jonathan Hamilton, a Little Rock player, win defensive player right there. So 3 sacks, forced fumble, and a fumble recovery. That 37-3 win.
That was an easy win for Little Rock. Let's check out right here. Grayson Stanfield had the 5 scores against Texas. You guys remember that game? That was fun. Billy Joe Hops against TAMU with a sack and a fumble recovery there. And week 2 here, he had Jonathan Hamilton again against Colorado State with 4 sacks. And Rashid Davis here, we talked about that one. You see Hamilton again there. Harkless Blair had 4 total scores against Louisville. And then against Eastern Michigan, we had Jace Freeman also in that game with 5 touchdowns. And then both of those Denver Tech guys. So that'll do it for Players of the Week. Still a feature we don't always see, but let's look at the home field advantage for these teams and the record to date since the 2017 season. I mean, this is looking pretty good. ACU only 1 loss at home so far, and I believe that was against Ardmore in year number 1, if I recall. Ardmore Stadium here in second with a 24-4 record.
Our average attendance is so much higher than all of your guys. Like, what is that?
Stadium size. What's this about?
I know.
Nebraska State.
So if
we've won 20 games in a row at home, this is nuts.
So in the pick'ems, guys, make sure you're taking Nebraska State if they're playing at home.
I'm shocked.
They don't lose at home. Apparently.
I'm shocked. I had no idea that I was that good at home. Honestly, I did not even realize that. But that is pretty amazing to me that we defend our home turf, man. That is impressive. And then Denver Tech with 1 loss at home. Believe that became courtesy of Ardmore.
Yeah, because it just restarted here at a 9-game win streak.
Yeah.
Do you have anybody else down there?
Maybe. It was probably year 3. I want to say year 3, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. Midland State 22-6 at home overall. The Bull Ring of McAllen 22-7 there. Down the ways a little bit, you get Little Rock with a 19-10 record. Amarillo 17-11. Yeah, Camu's got a winning record. Even Odessa has a winning record.
Yeah,
a lot of that probably non-conference schedule as well inflated. The Shreveport had the magic early in the Dynasty. They kind of tapered off a little bit but maybe they can figure it out soon. And down the line, Uba Stadium.
They've broken 500. 15-15.
Okay. That should do it. Who has the worst home field? UB Stadium. 5,000 average attendance. That's a decent sized stadium too. I believe they can fit about 35,000 there at Buffalo.
So nobody cares.
Another mode we don't always check out, but championship contenders. This is how we are setting up down the road here. And right now, they think Denver Tech is going to fall a little bit next season to 16th. Just judging by players leaving and all that. ACU drops to 5th. So they think the whole conference is going to take a bit of a step back here next year.
Yes, and make sure that you guys are remembering here, this is not the actual 2017, 2018, 2019 season. We are in year 5 from what the game is registered at 2014, 2013, I guess you'd say. So, yeah, it's a little weird seeing, 17, 18, 19. Like, what are you talking about?
Yes, this is 2021.
Correct.
2017 there. So.
Correct.
So the CPU thinks these other teams are going to be better than we are. Interesting. They think Shreveport's going to hold serve there. That's pretty interesting. Nebraska State, we're going to fall again.
But look at 2020. You're going to reach 19th.
Oh, man.
That's a projection.
They like Uba next year. They think Uba's going to skyrocket next season.
Maybe Tim Lester takes them to the next step. Maybe that offense finally starts to come through.
That should do it. Worst team in the nation is San Diego State.
That's
Ouch.
sad. With conference play beginning this week, let's take a look at the conference standings. We have 5 teams at 4-0 and Broken Arrow at 2-2.
Poor old Broken Arrow down there. So right now, what's your early takeaway after the non-conference slate? Which team are you looking at? Do you because you got Ardmore, you got ACU, Little Rock looks good, McAllen looks good, Shreveport looks resurgent,
surprising, I guess you'd say, for them.
And then Uba looks lost at sea again this year. So the fact that like Shreveport could play spoiler, but which team do you like out of this group? Let's take Ardmore out of the equation, because I know you're probably going to lean towards Ardmore. Which team of these 3 do you think can step up and challenge Ardmore the most?
I would say Little Rock. I would say Little Rock for sure. That defense is no joke. It's only rating a 90 right now as an overall rating, but you can't lie about that number. 7-3, 7-7. Like that's insane.
It's dastardly.
Like these teams that they played out of conference are not like world beaters or anything, but it's still
scrubs either.
It's still D1 college football, and you're holding them to 1 score in the game for 4 weeks straight.
Yeah,
there's something to be said about that. And when they get to play in conference teams like Shreveport, McAllen, Broken Arrow, that lines up really well for them because I think that defense could stop 4 of these 6 teams. Could stop, actually, it would be 3, right? They'd be able to stop Shreve.
Yeah.
They'd be able to stop McAllen, Broken Arrow. So they could stop 3. As far as Ardmore and ACU's offense go, that would be still a good game.
I'm going to go a little bit counterintuitive here. I think it's going to be McAllen. I think they are going to be the big challenge for you this year because I like the way Leroy Jackson's got that championship pedigree as a coordinator. I think he's bringing that flavor to McAllen. I think they're a tougher team than they were with Brock Musselman. So I believe that, I think Musselman's figured some things out in Amarillo too. So I think he's sort of turned a little bit as a head coach, a little more mentally tough over there. When he was at McAllen, the team was soft. They were mentally, not really with it all the time. So I think that has changed. I really do think that's changed. And I think the running game, once it gets going, I think they can knock off Ardmore. I think they can knock off ACU. But I don't think any team's getting out of here undefeated. So I would still pick Ardmore to be safe. But as far as challenger, I like McAllen. And a couple of these teams here at the bottom have disgraced the conference with their non-conference losses. Nebraska State losing to Nebraska, Camu losing to Wisconsin, and then Amarillo losing to Virginia Tech. So what's your takeaway here?
That if your defense doesn't shore things up, you're not standing a chance against Midland State or Odessa State. Odessa State could kill you, And Denver Tech still has a good defense. They're actually the best defense in the West. And they have one of the best offenses with Makovich.
They lost another game.
Bama did?
Bama lost
they're
again.
0-3.
Oh my god.
Does Saban get fired? Oh my god.
Wow. Yeah, you know what? I think I still like Amarillo a lot, actually. A little bit, probably surprising to you guys. I do think Amarillo.
Always with the hot takes.
I know that, but it's tough. It's tough to say. I came in as an Odessa State believer, and I believed in the hype. But I mean, I'm looking at the schedule moving forward after this UMass scare. I'm looking ahead, and I see at Ardmore, I see at Amarillo. They're at me, which is going to be tough for them, but, you know, I mean, they should be favored probably. Denver Tech, the Little Rock game, like, I don't know, everybody's tough in this conference. I think Odessa's schedule, though, doesn't do them a lot of favors. And just that UMass game's sticking in my brain here. Just, it makes me scared. From what I've seen, and you would probably agree with me, I think Midland and Denver Tech have looked a lot better. And I think Amarillo still has the capacity to turn it around.
They have the capacity. I just don't think that it's all going to come together at the right time for them because they get ACU this week. They get Odessa the week after that. Camu's probably not going to be too tough of a game for that offense. Like, they still have a good offense with Galveston. It's just, is Galveston going to be able to be the guy to be the glue?
Yeah.
I don't think he is. I don't think he's the glue to the offense. It's just not. It's the running game. It's the playmakers on the outside for them.
Yeah.
You're right. Amarillo has the capacity for it, but it's Midland State and Denver Tech all the way here.
So you like Midland State quite a bit here.
I do. That defense, 14 points, 13 points, 28.
Yeah.
Like, they're a really good team. Kent Collins seems to be like the real deal. And Claude Gray, surprisingly enough for me, at wide receiver, the number 2 or number 3 guy, he's stepped up in a huge way, and they obviously have a connection there. So,
yeah, and he's the backup quarterback. So I was not expecting him to be a super productive receiver.
I wasn't either.
I thought he was just going to be like a nifty little asset. And then you see the way like he's been exploding in a couple of these games. That's surprising, and that bodes pretty well for Midland State. So, yeah, I think Midland and Denver Tech, they look like the 1A, 1B kind of thing. Although I would probably lean towards Denver Tech.
As the 1A, yeah. You have to. They're the number 1 team in the nation.
The question for Gansu, NSU, do you think we can make a bowl game at this rate?
You've never beaten Little Rock. You have to go up against the number 2, number 3 team. That probably will change depending on what happens.
I got to win 3 games.
I don't know how it's going to happen, man.
I got 8 games to do it. I got to win 3. Somebody help me out. Where am I going to pick up these W's?
You're going to beat Odessa. You'll beat Camu.
I can beat Midland. I've done it before.
You've definitely done it before, yeah. You can beat Amarillo.
Yeah.
Like, I think those are your 3 wins.
I could beat you. User versus user, and who knows?
It's never going to happen. Again.
Who knows?
Only in live streams.
You do have me figured out, pretty much.
So that is going to be it for the preview of all the stats and everything. Let's get right into these games and predictions. McAllen and Camu. It's a very interesting game. I don't know if it's because of the logos or what it is, but I just love this matchup.
It's always been one of my favorite matchups in the conference.
Mine too. I think Camu's a sneaky team with this matchup. They're at home, but that McAllen offense is too good. It's too good. Jace Freeman, he is kind of a bipolar quarterback. Sometimes he shows up. Other times it's like, dude, what is happening to your talent? Did you get space jammed? Like, what's happening to you? So I'm going to take McAllen. They're the more safe pick.
I would agree with that. I'm looking at the rushing game, 300 yards per game. They're outrunning Camu by a pretty healthy margin. Even though Camu likes to use that as their bread and butter, McAllen's better at it. And I just think they're more explosive on that side of the ball. Defensively, I would give the edge to McAllen as well. Even though Camu, I think, is, they're a solid defense. I think McAllen is a little more stronger. They just make more plays on both sides of the football. So I talked about it just a little while ago. I think McAllen is a huge threat to win the conference. So give me the Matadors, the team that nobody cares about.
It's a big game. Did we ever think that this game would ever get to this point where Odessa is on the map and we're like, oh my gosh, we might have to suit up for this? They're the number 10 team in the land, 441 yards of total offense, 347 through the air, but we're matching that at 341. Number 3 and number 4 teams in passing offense. Defense for us, number 2 and 18 in total defense. So obviously we boast the better numbers on defense. Are we going to be able to shut Johnny Johnson Jr. down? JJJ?
Yeah.
Yes. The answer would be yes. We're going to be able to shut him down. Remember, he's a pretty decent quarterback, but he's no Cameron Willis or Montana Flynn.
Yeah, I like Ardmore here. I just think you're probably going to generate too much pass rush for Johnny Johnson. You know, he played pretty well against Notre Dame, but I did see him struggle a little bit when he was pressured. And that's kind of Ardmore's forte on defense, pressuring the quarterback. So I think Stanfield will be fine. Odessa's defense not going to pose any kind of challenge for Ardmore. They have to score to keep up with you, and it's on the road. Ardmore will win.
The battle of the purple teams.
Look at these total offenses, man. Midland and Shreveport just killing it on this side of the ball. And Shreveport with a little bit more balance. I mean, they can still run the ball, but now with Rasheed Davis, they're throwing it very effectively. And the defense has just lit it up here as we see Shreveport's numbers here. LSU 1-5. Struggling right now for LSU. But, you know, this offense, they torched the mid-majors on their schedule. So this will be a tougher challenge. Midland comes in 23rd. I like their defensive front seven. The secondary is getting better with more experience. And, you know, they've been tested since Midland's been blowing teams out. They were throwing on them. So I think that explains the pass defense numbers. Shreveport's had Midland's number, though. And a couple games earlier in this dynasty, Shreveport was heavily, they were a heavy underdog, like 2 touchdowns maybe. And they pounded Midland on the ground twice. They did it. Do you think they can do it again?
I am going to go with the upset here. Okay. I really am going to go with the upset. I like Midland. We were just talking about it in the conference standings. I like them. So if I'm wrong here, whatever. But I'm going to go with the Shreve to win this game. Look at that defense. Number 4 total defense. Number 16 against the rush. Number 12 against the pass. Midland State, I would have said last season and a couple seasons ago that they're one-dimensional. They are working that run game in there a little bit more, but they're still primarily a passing team. I think that Shreveport at home is going to get that defense ready. It's going to be a whiteout in Shreveport, and everybody's going to be partying up in the Shreve after a W and during the game because it's going to be all Shreveport in this one.
Oh, this is hard. I'm going to take Midland. I think it's going to be a very good game, very close game. Shreveport, you gotta fight in this one. If you lose, though, don't get too discouraged. I mean, because it's gonna be tough. Because like you were talking about the atmosphere and all the hype going around campus right now. If they start off 0-1, it's gonna be a hard pill to swallow. But you gotta fight through the negativity if you do in fact lose. But if they win,
Ooh.
they are going to skyrocket up the top 25
Yes.
and be considered legitimate division threat. Any chance of an upset in this one? ACU looking very strong with 544. I've been hyping up Amarillo despite their loss to Virginia Tech. There's a lot of Nate Galveston doubters. I think he played great against UTEP the last time out. But this is not UTEP.
This is not UTEP.
This is not UTEP.
This is not UTEP. 9 turnovers for the University of Amarillo. 7 for ACU. The defenses will reign supreme in this game, but the defense for ACU is the calling card of the team. And are they going to shut down little Nate Galveston? Yes, they will. It's going to be ACU in this game. No upset here. Galveston's not your prototypical quarterback. Then again, I've seen it in the past in real life that sometimes those non-prototypical quarterbacks can give defenses some problems. Again, I just don't think that Galveston is the glue to keep the team together or the offense together. Yeah. It's ACU all the way for me.
I really want to believe in this game. I will take ACU. I think it's going to be pretty close, but I do think ACU will squeak by in this game. It'll be a little bit of a scare going on at the Dillos Stadium. Oh my goodness.
It's a bloodbath.
Somebody help me.
That arrow is going to be broken in several pieces, almost irreparable for the rest of the year.
Yeah, Uba can't score. They cannot score right now.
And Denver Tech can.
And, I mean, you got to take that score with a grain of salt because they only had 24, I think, entering overtime. So,
It's Denver Tech all the way. There's even no point to even preview this game. There's no way that Uba's winning this football
Denver
game.
Tech's just worried about nobody get hurt. Oh, the C defense strikes again. Can we hold Gunnar Rivers? I don't think Gunnar Rivers is going to be the problem. I think it's going to be their defense because anybody can score against us, okay? Fresno State, Utah State, whomever. They can score against us, no problem. Gunnar's going to get his yards. It's just a matter of can we score 30 points? We need to score 30 against this team.
That's the key question. Is your offense with Shinosky, is that offense going to be able to hang? Because this is going to be a shootout. If you have any chance of winning the game, it's going to be a shootout. You're not stopping that offense.
Correct.
And we know from years past that it's been leading up to this because every time that Nebraska State seems to play Little Rock, your receivers can't get separation. They can't get open.
Right.
Which requires the run game to be primary focus of this team, of this offensive scheme in this game, but you refuse to do it against Little Rock. And Shinosky taking care of the football, running backs, offensive line. You got to accept it. It's going to be a shootout. How you choose to go about this, it's all coming down to you. It's all coming down to you.
Okay.
Are you going to grind the clock out?
Probably.
That would probably be the best form of action here for Nebraska State. Upset is to kill that clock, limit Gunnar Rivers' opportunities, but you have to score. I'm taking Little Rock. I still think you could execute a run-first offense, a run-heavy offense, but I'm going to go with Little Rock because eventually I think that you're just going to succumb to the feeling that you want to throw.
Probably. I don't want to pick against myself, but I am afraid that Little Rock will get the best of us here. So if you guys are picking, I would recommend Little Rock.
All right, guys, that's going to be it for week number 7's preview video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, that it's finally back. And we will have the NFL draft results along with the season results of the Miami Dolphins, the Jeff Henderson led, Jed Carmichael led Miami Dolphins in Madden NFL 19. If you guys need a reminder of that, it's in the upper right-hand corner. If you need to go check out some NFL updates for all of the Big 12 players, the past players that used to be in our Dynasty. So that's going to be it. That'll be posted on Wednesday. And that means that week number 7 conference play will post on next Saturday. So you literally have 7 more days to make your picks. Picks can be found below. That's the picks form that you will use to make your selections. Remember. Sirens are going off here. 3 points for conference predictions that are correct. You take Ardmore, we beat Odessa State. You get 3 points added onto your total. So these are huge games for your standing. And what are you playing for? Need a reminder, you're playing for the ability to have a custom recruit or the ability to rename an ACU freshman, a generic ACU freshman. So guys, let us know in the comment section, what do you think about the Tom Roden story? What do you think about the McAllen investigation with Vicente Galarza? Who do you think is going to win these games? If you want to tip your hand, maybe throw people off, like say, ooh, I'm taking Camus. Camus going to win this game against McAllen. Love to know you guys.
That's evil.
That's very evil. Love to know your guys' thoughts. Do you have anything else to add?
Nope, we are going to show all 6 of these games, so it'll be fun. Denver Tech at Broken Arrow highlights will be roughly about 2 minutes and 10 seconds.
Unless we get surprised.
We're not. Don't worry about it.
Never know. Okay, guys, we'll see you next Saturday. Actually, we'll see you next Wednesday for the NFL update. As always, peace.